Hey everybody, I'm Therese Apel, Public Information Officer for the City of Pearl, and we're going to start our Under the Dome series for this year. We're already a little ways into the session, and so we've got Senator Dean Kirby and Representative Jean Newman here with us to talk to us about what we're looking at on some of these bills that they have been working on since January. You guys have put some real work into this. First off, where are we in the process?
You want me to go?
Yeah, Mr.
All right,
President,
I'll go first. We're almost halfway through it. As you know, for a new term, 4-year term, the legislature has 125 days, I think, the first year, and then 90 days after that for the term, or for the session. And gosh, we're like halfway through, but we're not quite halfway through, if that makes sense. What we've done now is we've passed all the Senate bills except for a few that are held on a motion to reconsider. But we're through with the calendar, and now those bills go to the House that we passed, and then the House bills are coming over to us. They're in the process now of the Speaker assigning out to committee the Senate bills, and then the Lieutenant Governor assigning out to committee for the House bills. So we're kind of halfway as far as we've done ours, they've done theirs, except it's just a lot to go on before they ever get to committee. And then we've got till April the 2nd, I think, to bring out the other chambers' bills. So to bring them out of committee, I think. And then, of course, we've got till, I don't know, the 20th or whatever, maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know. It seems like forever.
Yeah,
This
but anyway,
125-day session just drags on and on and on.
Yeah, it's a long session. So to act on those bills, and then, of course, if we disagree on their bill, or we amend it and they amend ours, and then we'll invite conference, and we'll go to conference, which is 3 members from the House and 3 members from the Senate appointed by the Lieutenant Governor and Speaker. Then they try to compromise and come up with a bill. Now, all that sounds easy and a little bit complicated, but you got to remember, I'm not sure how many bills we've got now, probably 500-600 total.
We got about 500 left. We started with over 3,000.
That's what I was going to tell you. We started with over 3,000 bills, and bills aren't like one paragraph. I mean, I remember asking a question on a particular bill that was, I said, can you tell me what this means on line 6,350? So it's front and back. Some of them are this thick. Some of them are only 2 pages, but that's very few. So we're, I would like to say we're almost halfway, and
Sure.
we're in the process. It's now people are getting angry in the House and the Senate because we're at that point where their bill died. It didn't make it through committee process, and so it's not even alive. And if we have the same thing in the Senate that the House had, and we send it over there, say theirs died and ours didn't, well, then they'll take our bill and try to process it. But more than likely, if it died in the House, it's probably going to die the second time in the House when they get to Senate. So we'll end up with 300 or 400 bills, probably out of 3,000, plus appropriations and finance or revenue bills.
That's a lot of brain work.
It's a lot of late work. It really is. And reading and trying to figure out. I got real tickled when I first got there. Things were going so fast that I would if I could make it home in time for the 6 o'clock news, I'd watch to see what we did that day. I mean, it speeds up now. It doesn't slow down at all. From now on, it's hang on. So you have to be really, really careful. But we're having fun. It is, most of the time it is fun, and you just try to do the right thing, and which Jean does, and I do as well. Try to make sure that we're helping people, not hurting them. But every bill has 2 sides. Every bill. I'm telling you, when you think this bill will help everyone, someone will come and say, "You do that, I'm going to have to close my business." Why? And so then that's why it goes back and forth. Thank goodness we have 2 chambers. If we just had one chamber, there'd be a lot of junk come out, don't you think?
I agree.
Because we clean up theirs or try to what we think is right, and they do the same with ours. So
Checks and balances.
yeah. It usually, the old saying about making sausage. It's ugly, but it's pretty in the end usually, and most of the time. And what I haven't said is about probably at least a third of what we do is cleaning up where we messed up in the past. Well, we thought we had everything right, but some judge didn't think so, and we found some attorney found a loophole, so we tried to correct that. Sure. It's a lot of work, but it's very enjoyable, and as long as you know you're helping people, you enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, that's what a public servant is.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And the day you don't feel like you want to help people, you need to resign.
I like that.
And it's very true. When you're just there occupying a position, if that's all you're going to do, go home.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to go ahead and dive into some of the things that people are talking about, and I figured we could get y'all's views on them also. A major one being, there's a lot of people in the state that are affected by the PERS system. I know that you guys are working on a bill that would change up the board of the PERS system, which seems, pretty, I guess, standard just to do something like that. But tell me how that affects the people who are currently in the PERS system. What do we need to know about how it changes, or what does that do to it?
Okay, so since it's a House bill, I'll start it, and he can tell you what might happen to it in the Senate. So the objective is to solve the PERS problem. The estimates that I've seen is that PERS is $20 billion in the hole. Lieutenant Governor says it's $25 billion in the hole, and he's extremely smart and knows a lot about numbers. So if he says $25 billion, that's probably closer to right. Mm-hmm. The current board did not make the problem by itself, but they're not doing anything to solve the problem. And, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, I like the idea that you're changing the board, because while I really like my football coach, he really don't need to be down there making decisions about money. So, and I'm not saying they're not good people on the board, but their capabilities are not what we need. That we need somebody that understands financial situations like this, that can bring solutions, that can come in and if we need to change the law, tell us what we need to change. The legislature does not need to be in charge of PERS. We don't need that. That's the worst possible scenario that you could have. We just need to get a professional board that's appointed by the governor, lieutenant governor. Leave one person on there and specifically what it does is it allows the governor to appoint 4, the lieutenant governor will appoint 3, the state auditor and the one of the other state officers that deals with financial stuff would still be on the board.
Those treasurer, maybe?
No, the treasurer and somebody else that deals with money. Anyway, those 2 guys would stay. They're on the board now. They would stay on the board, and then one person would be elected from the retirees. One person would be elected from current employees. So it's an 11-member board, and having the people that are appointed have to have qualifications that would make it so, then that would make the board a lot better, in my opinion. It would all the other things that the bill would do would be to stop the right now the current board has put it in to where they're going to go up a total of 10%, 2% a year for 5 years, which will drastically increase school taxes, city taxes, and county taxes. So the average person out here who has nothing to do with PERS will see their property taxes go up a lot. And even the retirees will see their property taxes go up a lot. So we just need to solve the problem. We can't let it keep going like it is. We've got to do something to solve the problem.
Absolutely.
My turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Senate we agree with what the House is trying to do, first off. We just need to make some language a little clear in the bill, so I expect an amendment. I'm not the chairman of that committee, so matter of fact, not even on that committee that it's being assigned to, but I know the chairman very well. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that any state employee or any retiree keeps the exact benefits they got. They'll still have the COLA. They'll still get their 13th check. All of those things, we want to make it very clear in our language that the COLA does not change and that people don't have to worry about, am I going to get my 13th check? That's what most people are upset over. They're afraid a new board may come in and make all those changes. First off, the board doesn't do that. The legislature does that as far as the COLA, which is a separate code section. But understand that we can add it to this bill saying that it will not change. And I think the House would agree with that 100%.
Right.
It's just not clear in the bill. We want to make very, very clear to all the employees and all the retirees that we have a contract with them. This is the way the state does. A lot of people kept their job instead of taking maybe a job that pays a little bit more because of the defined benefit plan that we have under the retirement program, which is a great program. And state employees aren't paid as well as the private sector. We all know that. So we have to out-benefit some of them, and we've done that. And we want to make sure that it stays that way. A lot of people are offered jobs, and they'll say, well, I only need 3 more years, or I only need 2 more years. And then I can change jobs if I want to, but I want to make sure I get my COLA each year, and my retirement, and make sure they're vested. So that, excuse me, got a frog in my throat this morning. We want to make sure of that first. As far as the appointed board, there's several reasons for that. I'm sure the reason being, as Gene said, we're talking about an account that had $32 billion in it. But we also know that as far as the loss last year, it was $20 million loss last year on our investments. So we want to make sure that we keep that close to 30 plus in there. We're, as he said, about 25 billion short. Billion and million gets confusing sometimes, but 20 million or 25 million is a lot of money. I wish somebody would give me that much. I wish I could win the lottery and get it. But when you talk about 32 billion, 20 million is not that much. I kind of sound like the Texas A&M athletic director when they said, what did he say on Jumbo Fisher? He said, oh, it's only 86 million. That's not much to us, to buy out his contract because they've got so much money with 70,000 people on campus, but it's a lot. It's a lot to Mississippi College, Southern, and Ole Miss or State or Jackson State or wherever. That's a lot of money. So it's all in perspective. But anyway, we want to make sure that we have qualified people also on the board. I don't know what the chairman's going to do. I have no idea at this point. The bill's just coming to us, but I expect that we'll have appointed qualified people that are money managers, whether they be investment bankers, tax attorneys, those type people. We don't want the board to be a popularity contest like, hey, I know Sam and George, I'm voting for them. Does Sam and George really know anything about investments, that type deal? So I agree, and I think the Senate agrees that some of the members should be appointed. We may want to increase the number elected. We want to make sure that that the elected people, more than 2 or 3, I think our idea is to make sure that the retirees are represented by a retiree, that the employees are, represented by a current employee. So I think we're going to try to do a mixture of both and send it back. I don't know that. I'm not the chairman. I do know the chairman, and I've heard talk. And so I think we're going to try to do a mixture of that and send it back to them, as well as making it clear that you will get your 13th check, because the law says you will and you will. So some other things may change, but that's not going to change. I can tell you right now that the bill will die. I can tell you the bill will totally die before we don't have something in there about people making sure they get their COLA and the 13th check.
Sure. Well, and hearing y'all talk about this, I know it's important to a lot of the people that work for the state. What does my future look like? Because it's been a subject of discussion, what's going to happen to PERS for so long. So addressing this is going to be a big deal, I think.
I used to be chairman of finance, committee, and Haley Barber was governor at that time, and Haley wanted to totally restructure it. I mean, matter of fact, he wanted to privatize basically, and I wouldn't do it as chairman, and because then I was afraid something would happen to the 13th check or whatever, and I did suggest some changes that didn't pass, but suggested a lot that did as well that really helped the retirement system. But it's by no means broke. Let me say that we've got like I say, the last I saw was 32 billion with a B in reserve out there. I asked when I had a hearing when I was chairman. A lady named Pat Robertson was the director of PERS, and after everyone had asked all their questions, I said, I don't want to be like Columbo, but I do have one more question. And my one question is this: if no one paid another penny into the system, how long would it be before we go broke? She said 20 years. Then everybody started feeling better. But we got to look beyond 20 years. And I say that because of the changes that are being made. That's why we're doing it, because we are looking beyond 20 years. But also there's another, I'm not sure it's in the House bill, about a fifth tier. Is that in there?
No.
About new employees. We'll probably, I don't know this, but we'll probably put a fifth tier of retirement. And that fifth tier will be for new employees. New employees will not have the wonderful benefits. I expect this to happen. I don't know that it's going to happen. I don't know if it'll even get out of committee. But the new employees, I think, will be able to invest their money in different ways as far as retirement, whether it be a 401k or in the state, or maybe half this and half that. I don't know what's going to come out. But the new employees will not have the same benefits, I don't think, as the current employees. So the new employees, we hope, will be able to pay a little better too. So,
Sure.
and so their retirement should be more than the starting ones that started 25 years ago.
Good deal. Any response to that from the House side?
No, we just need to solve the issue. And I think the biggest issue is getting a board in there that can, like he's talking about the fifth tier, if that's the right way to do it, or if we need to do it in another way,
That's right.
let the professionals get in there and tell us what we need to do.
Good call. All right, so another thing that we've talked about a little.
Can I say one more
Go
thing?
ahead. Sure.
What's really got our attention, we found out that we're paying these people to advise us. We lost 20 million, and we paid these advisors $100 million is what we lost, paid to them last year, $100 million. And we're paying someone $100 million to lose money. Come on, something needs to change. That's obvious. And so by having some very qualified people on the board, I think will really help. Where they may say, I think you need to put your money here. Someone that does that for a living every day may say, no, you shouldn't. We shouldn't do that, and here's why. That's what we're looking for. But we do want to make sure that people are represented with their representatives as well. So it's a little bit different, but it's going to, we're going to meet in the middle somewhere, and we're working toward the same goal. Actually, we won't even be in the middle. I think we just got to get there. So
Good deal. Well, so another thing that I know everybody's talking about is the Medicaid expansion. Medicaid's been a big discussion. Talk to me about what do people know about what's going on in the legislature about this topic right now?
you want me to go first?
Well, since we sent the bill to y'all, let me.
Good.
So we passed a bill that early in the session that we passed a bill that would. It's got two parts to it. The first part of it is something I like. It requires a person to work to be able to draw the Medicaid. So we're helping people that are employed be able to get health care. The second part of it just opens it up for Medicaid expansion, which I do not like. But I was able to vote for it because of the part I liked, because I knew when I sent it to my friend over here, they're going to solve that issue with the Medicaid for all. They're not going to pass it. So I knew that I was safe voting for what I wanted to vote for, that part of it that I wanted to vote for, because I knew that they were going to take care of the rest of it. They're going to take that out when it gets over there.
And he's 100% right.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, that's right.
Teamwork. We will take out the Section 2, I think, part of that bill, which says that if we're turned down in Washington as far as having just working people that qualify for this program. Then yeah, we're going to take out the part that if it doesn't do it, it just goes to expansion. We're not going to do that. If you're not working, then you don't qualify. Yeah, so it's going to be working people only. We're not. I think what it'll end up being is more Medicaid reform than Medicaid expansion. Now, we have a gap of people that work hard every day. Some that work 2 jobs a day. I mean, they'll get off one job and go to the other. That make a little too much to qualify for Medicaid, but their jobs, part-time jobs at 2 places, doesn't provide them insurance, and they're left in a gap. So we're trying to fill the whole purpose of the bill, I think, is to fill that gap of people that can't afford insurance. Good gracious, now private insurance, health insurance is unbelievable, the price of it. So we're trying to fill that gap. Now we also have to make sure that we don't go too far one way or the other, and those people that are on expansion type coverage are under the plan that the commissioner has. I can't even think of the name of the plan right now, but make sure that those people stay on that plan and they don't come to this one. So this one probably may even be a little bit higher or cost a little bit more. I don't know. But now what the speaker said, I heard the speaker say, the plan that you guys have actually is not going to cost the state anything. That'll be from fees from hospitals and other sources. So we're all for it. We just need to change it so that we don't go to Medicaid expansion.
Gotcha. Anything else?
Well, the only thing that people say this will help rural hospitals. It may help some of them get paid a little bit faster, but this is not going to solve the rural hospital problem, because it's not about the number of people that they're treating in that form. The problem with rural hospitals and all hospitals, I mean, you go to UMC or Baptist or St. Dominic's, and there's floors up there that they don't have people in, that they're not working. The way they do medicine nowadays is completely different. And a perfect example is I had my knee replaced back in the fall. I went in that morning to the place that I got it done. I was there at 5 o'clock. They rolled me back at 7. I walked out at 1 o'clock. And I didn't spend the night in the hospital. I walked out.
Did you?
Literally got up and walked out.
Macho man.
So no, I mean you have to walk out. That's what they say. You got to walk out to be able to go home. So I was a walker and all that stuff, but you still walked out. So
that's great.
But the way that medicine is done today is not the way it was done in the 1950s when all these little hospitals was put in these small towns. And the one thing that we need to resolve is the certificate of need. For these hospitals, so that if you got a hospital out there that's got a wing or 2 that's empty, that what we desperately need is a place to treat people with mental issues, with mental health problems. So if we did away with the certificate of need for those and allowed that hospital to take one of its wings and start helping to treat people that was having mental health issues, then we're helping the hospitals and we're helping the people. So that's what we need to be looking at is that certificate of need. Some of them may be necessary, but a lot of them aren't.
In a former life, I wrote a lot of stories about that need for those extra beds for the mental health issues. So I think that sounds like a great idea. Senate's on the same side there, but we have a lot of people that actually are in prison that should be in a mental institution. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So we need to work on that. And of course, I've been a big supporter of mental health in Whitfield out here ever since I've been in, and I've done everything I can to help them. And I want to continue to do that. And our Region 8 does a wonderful job over there as well. Dave Van is as good as it gets as far as being a director, and we're very proud of him. But anyway, we're making some changes also on that. So.
Good deal. Well, and let's talk about another hot button topic, and part of this is because we haven't been here for the whole first half of everything. But in the Senate, you guys have passed Senate Bill 2628, the Mississippi Capital Region Utility Act. Now that would transfer some of the power over the utilities in the capital city to the state a little bit.
Yeah, and a very touchy issue.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the city of Jackson doesn't want to give up anything. And when senators are asking questions or senators are at the podium speaking on that issue, every time someone from one of our senators from Jackson will say, "You don't live in Jackson. You live in Biloxi, or you live in DeSoto County, or you live. So why are you trying to tell us what to do?" Well, they're almost right, but they're not correct, because this year, the senators will be here 4 months. So that 4 months out of the year they do live in Jackson, and they do like to take showers, and they do like to to cook and do things like that as well. So, but Jackson's had a lot of problems. There's no doubt about it. They are aware of it, and I must say that the problems didn't just start. They've been going on probably 50 years, at least 30, I know. And so it's not blaming anyone in Jackson or anything else, but they need to help, and we want to help them. And so, we'll do our best to make sure that the people that live in the city of Jackson have water. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to help them. We're not trying to hurt them anyway. We can care less about power. I mean, they can keep all the money. We don't care about that. What we want to do is just make sure that the city of Jackson is great again. Can I say that? Becomes great again. And it's already a good city, but we can make it a better city by helping if they just let us help them. That's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Well, and it's the capital city of our state. So therefore, Jackson represents us on a national level. And we know that because we've seen the national headlines about our water and that kind of thing too.
Well, they call us third world country. They go to Jackson, Mississippi, that they have water, and we don't need that. We need good publicity. We need good things. And I talked about Haley Barber a while ago. Haley made a statement one time that the news doesn't report the planes that land safely, only those that crash. And that's exactly, they look for things to be negative about, because that's what people want to know. They don't care so much about the good things that happen. They expect that. But they also, I think the people of Jackson expect us to do what we can do to help them. And that's what we're trying to do. Like I say, it's not a power grab by any means. It's just, let us help you.
Absolutely.
Well, the proof in the pudding is the fact that the federal guy that's down here to run the water system right now approves the bill that the Senate's passed. And you think about you've got the legislators that comes in out of town. But let me tell you something that I've seen that bothers me more as much as these guys. But because Dean and I live here. I mean, we don't have that issue. We just come home to Pearl and we got water. So. But the students at Jackson State, the students at Belhaven, the students at Millsaps, and students at UMC. UMC is not affected by it because they have their own water system. But Jackson State, Millsaps, and Belhaven does not. So when the water goes off, and you've got kids in here from out of town, and when I say out of town, I'm talking about from Los Angeles and Chicago and New York. It's crazy where all these kids come from to these different schools down here, but they come a long ways, and they can't just run home to do something about it. So,
that's true.
We need to do something for the citizens. We need to do something for those kids, and make sure that because that costs students, that costs the schools students that they have that are there. They leave because they just get tired of putting up with it. And it keeps other students from coming in. So
and it hurts our economy.
Yep.
It hurts not only the city of Jackson, but the state of Mississippi money when you can't have conventions and tourists don't want to come here because they say, "You guys have water." So yes, we have water. And that's what we need to say. Go to water you can find. So we're just trying to help.
Absolutely. Well, and when we've talked through the years about things like brain drain and things. Obviously we want to boost tourism, that kind of thing. This
Of course.
is definitely an important topic.
Yep.
So, okay, so to go back to the House, Representative Newman, you actually authored the bill 585, that's dignity and safety for incarcerated women.
That's correct.
And this all ties into a national conversation that's going on right now too. Talk to me about what that bill would do and why it's important to us right now.
So we've not seen it here, but we've seen it in other institutions across the United States where women have been placed in cells with men. They may be transgender, but they're still men, and it makes the women extremely uncomfortable. So I just feel like that a woman should not, even if she's incarcerated, she should not be degraded to the point that she's put into a room with a man. Some people it wouldn't bother, and that's fine. But the ones that does bother, they shouldn't be forced to do that. So we brought that bill out, and in the process, we were contacted by some college students that at some of the colleges here in the state that were actually being put in that position in college where they were in a women's only dorm and they had a transgender person in there with them, and they were extremely uncomfortable to the point that they wouldn't stay there anymore. And so they were put in a position where they were having to move off campus to be able to stay. And so, because the school would not change the dorm conditions. So we added to the bill that the same thing applies. We define in the bill, we define a man and a woman, and it's what's on your birth certificate. We're not getting into anything other than what's on the birth certificate is what matters. And then men cannot be in dorms or put into a cell with a female. If they are, then the female can sue the state to stop it. So that's what the bill does, and it passed the House, but as it was amended, it passed House and gone over the Senate. We hope it solves the issue. I know the Senate has a bill that's similar. That's come out that is a little bit broader, but the biggest thing the bill does is define man and woman, and says that a woman doesn't have to have a man in the same room with her. Now, one of the things that was brought up constantly was co-ed dorms. This doesn't do anything for co-ed dorms. Doesn't change that. That all it applies to is in situations where it's supposed to be a female only dorm. And the female does not want a male with her.
Sure. Well, and so there was a different bill that you and I discussed briefly that talked about sports too. What's the situation on that?
Well, we passed a bill several years ago that a male cannot participate in female sports. So that was already done. The bill that was passed the other day, it was real narrow in scope. And it defines man and woman, but as what's on the birth certificate. But it wasn't broad like what the bill I had. It's much more narrow, and it prohibits the same thing. It's more broad. It's more focused in area. It's more broad in area. It kind of covers everything.
Sure. What does the Senate have to say about House Bill 585?
Well, as far as 585, did you have another real good bill one year, 585?
Yeah.
That number's awful familiar. But anyway, yeah, I haven't heard anyone that disagreed with what the House has done there. I don't think we're going to have any problems. It's a good bill, and I appreciate the representative doing it. But we do have another bill, if you want me to get into that. But as far as 585, all I can say is thank you. I think it's a good bill.
And what is your other bill do?
Our other bill was a bill that, of course, I think the Lieutenant Governor is very much in favor of, that Senator Harkins did, and I think he was actually pushed to do the bill and wanted to do the bill. It was pushed by the Republican women, actually. That was their big #1 issue as far as Rankin County Republican women. and probably statewide Republican women, that Josh just hearkens. Simply, it just says it kind of defines male and female. That's what they were when they were born as well. But it says that you, well, I have to be careful how I word this, I guess. But anyway, they don't share dressing rooms and they don't share bathrooms. Basically, is what it gets down to. I have 2 girls myself, and I wouldn't want them going to the restroom with the guys coming in all the time. And so that's what Josh is basically doing, dressing rooms and restrooms, that women go to women's room, men go to men, just that simple. And I think it's a good bill, and I think I don't think it'll have any problems in the House. Could have, but I expect as big a vote over there as we had, and I think we have 52 senators. I think there was a couple absent that day, so I think we only got 50 out of the 52. So, and I expect same on your bill on our side, and our bill will do the same on that side. They both may be amended some way, and we go to conference and get all messed up, but I don't think so. I really think that both those bills will pass, and I think both the legislators, Harkins and Newman, both for bringing those bills out.
Absolutely. Well, now we've got another week coming up, obviously, several more. Talk to me about what we can look for you guys to be working on this week.
So we're back to committees. So
committees, yeah.
Actually, this week we'll be all sitting around twiddling our thumbs, waiting for the speaker and the lieutenant governor to get those bills assigned to the committees. Some of them's already assigned, so we will start. Committees will start meeting. Some of them will. Some of them want to wait till they get all the bills that they think they're going to have, and then they want to meet and go like crazy for a couple of days. So, but this is the process that we do. It's you when you start a session, you go through introductions, and you go to committees, and then you go to the full floor of each house, and then you just flip it over and you do it again until you get down to the end when you get to conference committees, and then it just gets nuts.
It does that. Probably this week we'll do revenue bills more than anything in the Senate. We'll have a lot of appropriations and finance committee meetings. We'll be working on those, and I expect you guys
we
will
will
too.
But,
and then there'll be some bills that have been assigned to committees. So those that have been assigned, hopefully those chairmen will call meetings, and we'll bring those bills out or kill them, whichever we're going to do. So, but anyway, we'll act on it, the House bills starting this week. We've got fewer numbers. There's only 52 of us. We only have 7 new senators. And I only had 1 senator defeated last time. So we feel like because of that, we have really good chairmen and experienced legislators in the Senate that have seen a lot of these bills before. They've studied them, they know it, and then they're just making sure that the bill does the right thing. So I expect some bills to come out pretty quickly in the Senate this week. And I can promise you one thing, with the lieutenant governor we will be working. Yeah, I can tell you, that's the workingest man I've ever been around in my life. I said to him once, I said, I want to know what type batteries you have, because I want to use those same type batteries, because either you have a better battery than I do, because you've worked me down, and I said, or either you have an extra battery, and I need to know how to get an extra battery, because I can't keep up with it. He works day and night, all the time, weekends.
I suspect it's the Energizer.
I'm going to go up there with a drum on one day and go into his office. I can't keep up with him.
Right.
So.
Well, guys, we're so grateful for y'all being here with us, and we're glad to get this started back up. Obviously, my position has changed, so this is our first one of the year, but we want each and every one of these to be as memorable as this one from here on out. So.
Well, I think this is very good. Under the Dome is a good thing to let the people know where we are and what we're doing and what we're thinking. And for one thing, they can let us know. I don't agree with what you said, and here's why. Could change my mind. But a lot of these issues go way beyond the appearance and what you hear on the news. I actually, years ago when I first got elected, my wife said, "Are you voting for this?" And I said, yes. And she said, if you vote for that, I'm not even going to help you in the next election. I said, well, let me explain. And she said, you don't have to explain. I read the paper. I saw the news. I know what the bill does. I said, but let me tell you, I don't want to hear it. I said, okay. Well, I voted for it, knowing she was going to be mad at me, right? And about 2 weeks later, she said, you didn't tell me that this affected Rankin County and that we wouldn't be able to do and whatever it was. I said, yeah, it would really hurt Rankin County. She says, well, I agree with you. Why didn't you tell me? And I just said, you wouldn't let me.
Well, and as a former member of the media, I can attest to the fact that, as reporters, we focus on a subject and that's what we want to talk about. And, it's not necessarily an agenda or anything else. If I think this bill says this, that's what my story is. And it doesn't give all the information every time. So that's why I like what we're doing here, because y'all can actually explain it to us.
Yeah, and let me say this, I want, and I know Gene 100% agrees, but we talk about it. We have a really good delegation, not just not
We
Pearl,
have the best delegation.
we do, and look, we have everything from lobbyists to whoever, state agencies, whatever. Saying Rankin County has the best delegation up here, and we think we do. We lost Tom Weathersby because he retired, but Lance Warner filled his place in the House, and Lance is exceptional. I think. I think you really have a good one there.
We have a great one there, and y'all got Brian Rhodes, and I think he's just as good.
Brian Rhodes really listens, pays attention, studies the issues. He's a really good person, good family man, has a wonderful family, and I couldn't be more proud of Brian than we are in the Senate. He works hard. And Andy Berry, who doesn't really have any of Rankin, I don't think now, but he touches up to Rankin, which still affects us. Andy is a really, really good guy too. So we've got some really new people.
We also have Celeste Hurst, who is basically a new slot out there that it was a Democrat seat that was moved over, and she's really good. She's the wife of former U.S. Attorney Mike Hurst, and she's very smart, does a really good job, pays attention, and she's going to be good.
She is. She's good. So we feel blessed to work with these guys, and they're doing a great job. Brian, I told him again, ask a lot of questions, and he took it, and he heard it, and he does. And I remember when I first got there, I was so lost. Gene had a little bit of advantage because he had actually been at the Capitol a lot of times with his job, but I hadn't, and I really didn't know anyone except Rob Smith, who was my good friend, but he was a Democrat, and we disagreed on some issues, but not on Rankin County issues. I don't think we ever disagreed. So he did a good job representing us, but overall, I just can't imagine anybody being better. Overall, and I think one reason is we work well with our supervisors and mayors and sheriff and schools and all. One reason is because we all like each other, and when you like someone, then you want to help them. And so we really do work hard at trying to help each other and doing what's best for not just Pearl, but all of Rankin County and our state at the same time. Sometimes you get caught in a trap, but usually it's they're good folks. We're very blessed to have the elected officials, not just in Pearl, because we all know we got a great mayor, but the whole county and the other cities. We've got good people, and we're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing Rankin County go wild right now. Getting back to when I first got there, we had a guy named Giles Ward that was, I don't know if you know him or not, he was from Louisville, and he came his first day, and sworn in, the whole deal. His wife, Kate, sweet she could be, right beside him, and she was there on the Tuesday that we got sworn in, and then she left Wednesday, then he came home Friday, and he told me that she says, Giles, did it get any better? And he said, Kay, they may as well be speaking Japanese. I know I've voted on a lot of stuff. I don't have a clue what I've done. And that's the way it is at first. It's a learning process. And the reason, Anywhere else, a freshman is first year. Yeah, not in the legislature. It's 4 years. You're a freshman for 4 years. And you learn for 4 years how to hopefully pass a bill or how to get one passed. Then you spend the rest of the time learning how to kill bills that are terrible. So it's true.
That's it.
But it's a really a learning process, and we have new people that are very bright, that are catching on really quickly, and I'm just tickled to death to have them.
Great. Well, guys, thank you. I appreciate y'all taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today, and as we do this through the end of the session.
We thank you. We appreciate you coming in and taking the place here to do this, and you know, we're gonna have fun with it, and hopefully we can let our people know exactly what's going on. And as Dean and I have always said, you know, if you have a question, if there's an issue that needs to be addressed, call us. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to call us. I mean, you know, I may have to call you back, but we will call you back. Just call us, please.
Yeah, and so thank you all also for joining us. I was going to say that one thing I know about these guys is that they are easy to get in touch with. They do call you back. So if you have something to say about what they've said, feel free to contact them. If you want to see us discuss something here on Under the Dome, you can also contact me here at the City of Pearl. Thank you for joining us, and we've really enjoyed being here with you today, and we will see you again next week. I'm Therese Apel for the City of Pearl on Under the Dome.